Alright, here's my truck. So I'm having the issue where you open your door, passenger side, no light comes on. And if you hop out on the passenger side and the key's still in it, it won't cut the radio off. So I already took this, which is the door latch piece off that just pops out. I already took this off, which has these two springs on the back in the corner. Took that off here. I'm going to take this piece off the front, which just pulls out. It's one of these. And I pulled this little small cap. It's just a cap. It sticks on top of this star drive here, or torque drive. So I already fixed the one on the driver's side. My driver's side started doing this and it was giving me like electrical issues. So I did the one on the driver's side. It worked what I was doing. So I'm just going to record here what I did. So here we go. I'm going to start taking her apart. As I said, I already took this out, took that out, took this front piece out, and this cap. So I'm going to go ahead and take all these bolts out. This one here, this one. There's one right here underneath the door, right there. This one, and there's one hidden right there underneath. Well, let's get to it. All right, here I am back. I took out this screw, that screw, this one, and the one on the bottom. This thing's really easy to pull off. Let me go back to landscape. There we go. You can just grab it by the handle here and just lift up, and it pulls the whole back out, which you just saw. See how the back's loose now? So then you just got this one piece up here that you gotta pop off. So not this, but just to get this front piece taken out. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna sit it down to the side after I start pulling off the back pieces on the electronics. All right, so took that off. So this whole thing pops up. So now what you'll have to do, see there's that one that's on the bottom for the light at the bottom of the door. And then you have all your wires going to your windows and door locks. So I'm going to go ahead and take those off just so I can stick this to the side. This makes life a little easier. You see some people can try to hang it, but I don't like putting all that stress on there because I'm going to end up messing up, grabbing it, and tearing it off. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those wires off, and I'll bring you right back. It's kind of a pain, but I just showed you that light came out of there. As you can see, right there, the whole piece just comes out. That one's pretty simple. So what you do here, as you can see, there's this piece here. It's just like a normal one. You just push the tang down on this side, pops right out, just like that. And then you got this one here. So you've got to push this black tab on the top part right here. Push that down. So you push that in, and as you push that one in, you push this gray ring back. And that whole thing pops out like that once the gray ring goes that way. It sucks having fat fingers and trying to do this with one hand. There goes one. So that's another one with the spring on that side. Then there goes that one after you put the gray that way. And you got this one here. It's another. Well, come on now. Pull that whole piece off. Come on now. God damn it. There we go. So you see that one. That one's just another. It's better if you leave it in there, especially when you're doing this one-handed. It's so much easier when you got both hands. I think I got it. There we go. Now all the wires are loose. And pull her on out. And it gives you easy access to to this side where the latch and everything's gonna be. Be right back to you. So what you're gonna do is, here's the latch that I gotta take out. So there's this bar, which is the lock. So lock, the actual door handle's gotta come loose. And then there's like 2 more in here you gotta pop off. So what we're gonna first do is take this off, this plastic, and peel it back. So then you can take this and this out. I'll be back to you after I get it all cleaned up. All right, as you can see here, you know, I use my truck. I see a lot of guys out there, you know, they pull theirs apart and there's not a speck of dirt anywhere. As you can see, mine's been flying down some gravel roads, you know, throwing up mud, burning ass, you know. So excuse all the dust and all the rust. So here's the lock. Comes down. You'll see once I turn you in there, there's a little red right there. You see it right there? So what I do is I take all these clips out the white, you can see behind here, make sure it's super loose, because then you can take that red one, it'll just pop right on out once you get that. So we're gonna do that one first. And then we're gonna do that one right there, which is just a tang on the left side. You push that out, this whole thing flops open. So that'll be the second one. And then we'll just pop off this one on the hinge here, because then you can pretty much pop. All right, so be careful with these. This just pops straight out. You just want to break the little tabs. Got that loose, pulled this loose, so these just work. And this one right here, you know, the bar fits in the hole down in there, so you just swing this out, you just push it out this way, and this comes right out. So what I do is I just lift it up like that, just like that, slide that back, and then that's free. Now I'm gonna push that back through that wire piece there. Can't really get my fingers on it because it's so small. And I'll get this wire free, and I can get to the other side of this. And then I'm gonna loosen up these 3 right there, and this whole piece will slide out. But as you slide it out, you gotta take care of these electrical connectors that I'll show you when we get there. All right, be back. All right. Pulled the 3 bolts out there. Now the hinge is loose, as you can see sitting in there. What you'll do is just make sure this is clear of the handle, and then this whole thing will slide out to you. You just gotta wiggle it out until it gets a little free. Just making sure you don't damage any of those. So then that kind of gets you free here to then disconnect anything you want. So first thing I'm gonna try to do is take these electrical pieces out. So that'll be this one. You just pop that tang, pull these out. Then you got the same thing on this side. Pop that tang, pull this piece out. I'm not gonna do these by hand because this thing's really old and I don't wanna break it. Then you got this one and this one if you wanna take the bars out. I'm gonna see if I can't just do the electrical and then just slide the whole piece out, and then I'll take it into the shop. So, see you in a second. All right, in the shop. I just wanted to show you, I mean, I would take these off at the truck, but you can just take pliers, just hit that back of that piece. It should just pop on out. Can't really do it with one hand, but trying. There you go, just like that. Oh, pop on out. Pop on out at some point. Just want to catch the very edge and drop on out. So now moving on to our issue here. I didn't even see it's super dirty, but real issue here is this piece here. So I don't know if you can see those cogs. They move back and forth, and if they're super dirty, the contacts won't work. It won't move freely. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take apart this piece, this bottom electrical portion. So we'll take out 1, 2, try to pull everything apart so then we can clean everything. So we're gonna use carb cleaner because I don't have anything else. You should use electrical, but carb cleaner works. I already did it on the driver side. Clean all this stuff out. Make sure you get these really clean. And then after you're all done and everything's spotless, then you'll take a little silicone and spray that piece. Just make sure it moves super easy. So that'll be next step. I'll be back with y'all. All right, took out those 2 screws. Let's go here and then that one. So what that does is it disconnects the electrical portion from the mechanical portion. So the best thing I found to do this, so I really need 2 hands, but as this pops out, but the big piece here is this dog is connected to the electrical portion. So you've got to move this white piece down so then you can slide this piece out. I don't have enough hands to do this, but you'll see it pops out just like that, and then that's free, so then the electrical portion just pulls right out just like that. Makes life easy. Now this is what I think causes most of the problem, is in there this thing's super tight. Like, it should move super easy, like almost you just flick it and it moves, but this thing's pretty tight. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean up this side really well, just make things better for me locking and opening and closing. I don't break any more handles. And then I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna spray in there really well, work it loose. And then I'm gonna work on this too, trying to get this loose so I can work on that. So I'll be back after everything's cleaned up, but you'll see after I'm done how much better this looks. All right, be back. All right, here we're back in the garage. I got them pretty much cleaned, as you can see. And then I cleaned this really well, so I'm gonna show you what I did. I have a brush that's just like the nylon brushes, and I have a stainless steel. So the stainless steel one I use pretty much only on this. Just get all the gunk out, and then, you know, anybody can do that. And then the last part I like getting is this top at the cogs. I spray that, and then I move the hinge back and forth. So you can just do that here, where you can just move this, push this down, close it up, and then spray up here with, I use carb cleaner and a little bit of the penetrating oil. So that gets this super loose. So this thing's actually moving pretty well now. It was sticking really bad earlier, but you can see it just moved back. So this part is the one that you really have to work. It's down here. And what I did, as you can see now, it's moving pretty well now. You pretty much throw it from one side to the other. So I move it to one side. I don't know if you can see this, but all of that came from in there. So I move it to one side, and then I spray this down in here, just like that. And then I use this, and I use the tip of the brushes to get in there and get all the gunk out. So I did that on both sides. It came out pretty clean. I got everything cleaned up. I even sprayed a little bit in here that moves freely now. So I think she's gonna work. So I'm gonna do a little bit more, get this nice and lubed up, and then put it all back together, and I'll be back with you. All right, so this is gonna be hard for me to do with one hand, but what you wanna do is push the lock back up. So you just push this up, and that makes it kind of reasonably accessible. So what you'll do is move this up, so, and then you can slide this under and push this black piece back in to the slot like that. And then you just got to make sure the cogs are lined up where you want them. So what I'm talking about is you want this first tooth into that tooth. So when you sit it back in, you've got to push it out a little bit and then slide it over. And just like that, things back together. So you'll just take your screws, put your screws back in those 2 slots, and you're back in business. All right, see you back at the truck. All right, back here at the truck. So I put everything back in, lock that in, put all the bar back into the white clamps, hooked everything back up in here. The electrical's hooked up, and did all the bolts on here. So what you'll do, I'm gonna test it prior to putting everything back together. Move this bar all the way to the left, because that's unlocked. And we'll see what happens. Let's hope for the best. No dice. That's not good. So I did this just in case someone else does it, because I know I thought I could just test it prior to putting things back together. It works now. As soon as I plugged it in, I thought for 10 minutes trying to figure out why it wasn't working. I guess the circuit goes through there and there's a ground or something in there. But now it works. So I'm gonna put it all the way back together, and then I'll give y'all a full ending here. All right, here we are. It's open, this is open. All right, let's hope this thing goes out. I forgot how many seconds. I don't know, it's like 10 seconds or 15 seconds, but should go on out. Then we're gonna see if it works when I open it. All right, so timer's off. And voila. So, fix this one too. So now both my driver's side and my passenger side works. So just remember, if you're like me and you want to test things before getting it all back together, you gotta have the, I think it was the gray levered one was when, which I think goes with the lock switch here, is the one you needed on there for the lights to come on. But like what I showed you, if you do it, it'll work. It'll fix it. I've done it to my driver's side and my passenger side now, so hopefully it'll last another, 5 to 10 years, and I won't have to spend, $200 on a new one. All right, Angler Angler out.